Yes, woo, they probably have the best view because they're right on the lake. It's gorgeous. All right, first off for Lakeshore Roller Derby, we have 02 Scare Bear, 05 TT, 170 Wildcat, 21 Punky Bruiser, 22 Mira, 24 Drama Queen, number 3 Kitty Anna Jones, number 5 Cutter, 55 Bunsen Burnher, 713 Killer Buzz, 745 Razorburn, 786 Princess Leia, and number 922 Jawbreaker Josie, or sorry, Jawbreaker Jose. And that is your Lakeshore Roller Derby. On the bench for them, they have Malix, Jax, Torch, and Red. Let's give it up for Lakeshore Roller Derby. And now for Ann Arbor Roller Derby's B team, number 11, Bo Toxic. 125, Murder. 179, Sydney Bean. Number 18, Nut of Your Business. 190, Death Valley. Number 2048, Alan Winch. One of your captains this evening, number 359, Wolfstone Crash. Number 6, Eleanor Roosevelt. 71, Fresh AF. 713, Shrewd Folly. 74, Raptor. Your other captain for the evening, Leslie Oak, number 75. And number 9, Nadia. On the bench this evening for Ann Arbor, we have Betty Lockdown, Donna Ignoble, Handover Fist, Sailor Swoon, Terminator, and Maggot the Trunchable. That is your Ann Arbor Roller Derby B team. And right now, crossing the track, you have our non-skating officials, our NSOs. We also want to say thank you to our refs for coming. Fun fact, all of these are volunteer positions. So our skating officials for this evening, for our first game, are Boz Kitty, Derive, Geoknitter, Rob Anybody, Tall Order, and Technical Difficulty. Our NSOs for this evening are Annie DeSpanko, Big Tails, Coffins, Fee, Fox, McKenna, Nebula, Novo, Principal Buttercup, Shelby Cobra, and Tornado Alley. Big round of applause for our refs and NSOs this evening. So remember, if you have any questions about what's happening, do not hesitate to ask literally anybody. We're always happy to talk about what's going on. So don't be afraid. Nobody bites. And we also like talking about roller derby. With that nice round whistle, that means that we're getting ready to get started. 5 seconds, some waves. And we are getting started with number 05, TT, jamming for Lakeshore, and Sydney Bean for Ann Arbor. We see number 125, that's Murder at the front, playing some offense for Sydney Bean, trying to get through. In the back, TT is meeting up against Wolfstone Crash, Eleanor, as well as Bo Toxic, trying to hold them back. A little tumble around the inside, and TT is your first lead jammer of the evening. And Sydney Bean is out right after them. TT's gonna keep pushing it, and they're gonna tap their hips, and that means that the jam is ending. So for those of you who are new, the first initial pass for our jammers does not equal any points. It's strictly to establish the role of lead jammer, and that means who gets to control what happens in the game next. As you might have saw, TT touched her hips in order to call out the jam. That means we're done, cut the cameras, it's over. Next group. Up now we have jamming Raptor for Ann Arbor and Mira for Lakeshore Roller Derby. I don't like where this is. You're fine. I just gotta move things Mira is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. It looks like Mira is also wearing the C. They are your captain this evening. Mira is through and out on their scoring pass, hitting the back of Ann Arbor. Raptor is stuck behind a 3-wall of Lakeshore. Ann Arbor doing a great job of recycling in the front, but a whistle is blown. Looks like a Lakeshore blocker is going to go to the box. Jawbreaker Jose is in the front, slowing them down, but Raptor is through and on their scoring pass with a tap to the hips and a little push out. Mira's going to call it off. 4 points picked up for Lakeshore, our first points of the evening. 4 points for Lakeshore, 0 for Ann Arbor. On the line right now, we have 922, that's Jawbreaker Jose for Lakeshore, and 18, None of Your Business for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Whistle blows. Both jammers are going to kind of take a little bit of a slow start. Jawbreaker getting caught in the back behind a 3-roll of Brucefelt. You may hear a no pack called. It's important that you stay close. And Nutter is not your lead jammer, however, is out for scoring. Oh, and it looks like there was a star pass for Lakeshore. So we're going to go the full 2 minutes for this jam. Had Jawbreaker Jose kept that helmet cover on, then she would have been able to get lead jammer and therefore control the flow. But because the star was passed, that means that we are going to have that full 2 minutes. Both jammers are through, each of them picking up 4 points for their respective team. A Lakeshore blocker is going to the box. A nice legal hit to from TT, sending that blocker to the ground. But Nutter is out and has picked up 4 additional points. The score 8-8. Nutter leading by 4 points to TT's 4. Beautiful, nice, slow packs being held. Remember, roller derby is the only game that you need to play offense and defense at the same time. There are no real roles, essentially, from the jammer, who is your ball, who has a star in their helmet, and the pivot, who's basically their relief. None of Your Business getting through, picking up another 4 points for Ann Arbor. We have 27 seconds left in this jam. TT stuck behind her own blockers as well as Ann Arbor. Shrewd Folly sending them to the outside and the end, staying right on top of them. None of Your Business sending a Lakeshore jammer, or say Lakeshore blocker to the floor. Whistle blows, and that is a Lakeshore blocker going to the penalty box again. TT is finally out and picked up another 4 points, but not before Nutter picks him up. Right now we have a lead change, 16 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, 8 for Lakeshore. We have our first lead change of the night, and so far our highest scoring jam this evening of 16 points by Nutter Your Business. On the line right now, we have Sydney Bean for Ann Arbor. And number 22, that's Mira for Lakeshore. Mira doing a little jammer on jammer action, slowing down Sydney Bean and pushing her to the out. But Sydney's going to run on the inside, and we have your first lead jammer for Ann Arbor this evening. However, Mira is out and right behind them, looking for a little assistance from the bench. What's our plan? Oh, big tumble, but that's okay because Sydney called it off. 0 points picked up for Ann Arbor, but 2 for Lakeshore Roller Derby. So just for those who are new to roller derby, when the jammer taps their hips, first they have to tap their hips 2 times, but also we're going to take a timeout for Lakeshore, but also there has to be 4 whistles blown before scoring stops being counted. So just because you might see a jammer call it off does not mean that the other team just immediately stops and stops scoring points. Looks like we have a timeout right now. So with that timeout, I'm going to go ahead and take a chance to thank our sponsors. Expert Physical Therapy. Want to know the secret behind our strength on the track? Expert Physical Therapy. Their personalized care and focus on injury prevention keeps us rolling strong in Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Shout out to the amazing team for being our go-to support system. That's Expert Physical Therapy. As well as Sisu, an astonishingly thin, obnoxiously bright, boomerang-shaped hunk of technology, revolutionizing mouthguards across the universe by offering more protection and less oh my gosh. Now embarrassing myself on the internet. More protection, less mouthguard. A favorite of Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Sisu. Oh, thank goodness. Perfect timing. We're back to roller derby, something I can actually talk about without stumbling over my words too much. On the jam line for Ann Arbor, we have 74, that's Raptor, and 05, TT jamming for Lakeshore Roller Derby. TT is going to take a backwards approach. Ooh, big hit by Botoxis, send it to the inside. And Raptor is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Ooh, a big hit from the pack. Jawbreaker Jose is back in the pack. And what's fun is Sydney Bean and Jawbreaker Jose and actually a few other members here are members of Team Michigan Roller Derby. Raptor is through picking up 4 points on her initial scoring pass. TT is still stuck in the pack trying to make their way through, but Wolfstone Crash is going to push them to the inside, forcing the reset. Looks like the helmet cover is off, and they are going to look for a star pass. Raptor using some footwork, working their way through and picking up 4 more points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. A successful star pass by Lakeshore Roller Derby, and that's going to make Killer Buzz your jammer. But Raptor's going to call it off after picking up an additional 3 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. 11 points scored total this jam, 27 Ann Arbor, 14 Lakeshore. We've got 23 minutes left in this half. On the jam line, we have number 22, Mira for Lakeshore Roller Derby, and 18, None of Your Business for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Whistle blows, a little bit of footwork, but None of Your Business is going to run up that inside line, and it's going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Mira still stuck in the front behind a 3-pack of Ann Arbor. And it looks like one of your captains, oh no, that's 71, that's Fresh AF, and 75. That's Leslie Oat, one of your captains at the front, along with Shrewdfall Lee putting in good work. Nadia is doing their best to get some offense moving in this pack in order for Nutter to get through. Nutter spins around and picks up another 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, bringing their total to 31 right now. Mira is stuck in the pack. Looks like the helmet cover is off. Nutter has gone past the Ann Arbor pack, is stuck behind a 3-wall of Lakeshore, who's doing a good job pushing them side to side. Good awareness by 75. That is your captain, Leslie Oat, by staying on top of that pivot turn jammer. Big hit by Fresh AF to the inside line. None of Your Business is back up to score more points for Ann Arbor. There are still 40 seconds left in this jam. Beautiful offense that's trying to be played by Fresh AF. Beautiful, and Nutter is through. Whistles blowing, somebody's going to the box, but not before Ann Arbor does an incredible job of locking down this pivot turn jammer. Big hit to the inside by Fresh AF. Beautiful, but that doesn't stop from Irene from getting through. They are now your jammer for Lakeshore with 11 seconds left. Ann Arbor picking up the pace, controlling the pack, trying to make sure that that jammer cannot get any points, and it does work. Another 16-point jam for None of Your Business. So far, Nutter is our highest scoring jammer this evening. Our score right now is 43, Ann Arbor 14, Lakeshore Roller Derby. 20 minutes left in this half of our first game. (922) Jawbreaker Jose is on the line for Lakeshore, but Sydney Bean is out and is your lead jammer, her second lead of the night, and she is out and ready to score points. We have a star stash, and Jawbreaker Jose is out and ready to score points. Sydney's gonna fight to try to get through that inside, but it's going to touch her hips. 2 points were picked up by Lakeshore in that little spin around, and 3 for Sydney Bean. On the line now for Ann Arbor, we have 74 Velociraptor, as well as 22, that's Mira for Lakeshore. Another time. Mira getting caught up behind that tough Ann Arbor wall. Ann Arbor struggled the first couple minutes, but they seem to have figured out their flow. A beautiful 3 pyramid slowing down them jammers, and someone at the front either bitching or playing offense. Lakeshore at the front is doing their due diligence to try to slow down Raptor. Beautiful offense being played by Leslie Ope, spreading the pack out a little bit more as Raptor continues to try to get past number 5. That's Cutter. Almost there. We're looking, we're almost. And Raptor is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. For those of you that are new, if you can see the little tick marks on the ground, they look like little slashes. Those are, whoa, big old puddle, big old pile up, but there is going to be a back block for Raptor. That means that she is going to the box, and that means that Lakeshore Roller Derby is going to be on a power jam. We have a star pass to Jawbreaker Josie, who is going to be your jammer, and this jam will go the full 2 minutes. As I was saying, those tick marks on the floor, those represent 10 feet. You must be within 10 feet of the pack in order to do something cool. If you don't, then you're going to go to the box for it. You'll see that players are getting called off for penalties, so Roller Derby is surprisingly full contact, but very safe. We don't want anybody to intentionally get hurt, right? So we'll talk about that in a minute. Jawbreaker Josie trying to take a ride on her teammate's jersey around that outside line, but Ann Arbor has it locked down. 7 seconds left. Raptor coming out of the box. A big hit from Cutter, sending her down to the ground. And a jam will come to its natural conclusion. Raptor picking up 3 points. Jawbreaker Josie picking up an additional 3 points as well. Our score right now is 49 Ann Arbor, 19 Lakeshore. Up on the jam line, we have 745. That's Razorburn for Lakeshore, and 18. That's Cutter. I'm sorry, not Cutter. That's, Nutter Your Business, who is also your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Razorburn once again getting caught behind that Ann Arbor wall. Ann Arbor kind of moving a little bit faster than they normally have. A little tingle, but Nutter is pushed to the inside and forced to recycle by number 3. It's Kittiana Jones for Lakeshore, but Nutter's going to race up the inside line, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor. Looks like we had a star pass, and Wolfstone Crash is out front saying, hello, can somebody help me? And Ann Arbor does. They do a good job at recycling, and now Nutter is through again, picking up 4 more points. Ann Arbor doing an excellent job of recycling and staying together, but that looks like number 05, their captain Titi, is out and is now eligible to score points for Lakeshore Roller Derby. None of Your Business coming up, taking a cute little ride around Murder by Murder and calling off the jam, picking up 4 additional points for Ann Arbor. 12 points picked up by Nutter in that jam. Our current score is 61, Ann Arbor 19, Lakeshore. A little jammer on jammer action as Sydney Bean feeds Jawbreaker Josie to her team. And she is up. The team takes the bait, and Jawbreaker Josie is back, and Sydney Bean is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Jawbreaker Josie is out and is eligible to score points now, as well as Sydney Bean. Big hit to the outside by Cutter, who is going to send Sydney to the outside. Let's see, 2 points were picked up for Sydney before that hit. There we go. I know, it's a full house, trust me. 74 Raptor is up jamming for Ann Arbor, and that's 22. That's I'm sorry, that's not TT. That's Mira. But it looks like Raptor has gone to the box, and it's going to be a power jam for Lakeshore and Mira. So Lakeshore needs to work hard in order to get Mira out. So not only can she score points, but she could be the lead jammer and control the flow of the game. Beautiful footwork to get around Murder by Proxy, and Mira is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby on this power jam. For those of you following along or who are new to roller derby, penalties are 30 seconds. So they got 30 seconds to make something shake. Raptor is out, and Mira's got to call it off. 1 point picked up by Lakeshore Roller Derby. Our current score is 63, Ann Arbor 20 for Lakeshore. On the jam line right now, we have number 18, Nut of Your Business, and number 922, Jawbreaker Josie, doing a beautiful back bend. And Jawbreaker is going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Nut of Your Business getting pushed to the outside by a Lakeshore blocker and being forced to recycle all the way back. Jawbreaker looking for an edge on the inside, a little bit of offense being played by TT, and Nutter is up. Unfortunately, is going to go to the penalty box for a high block. Okay, so a lot just happened in the last 5 seconds, so let's talk about it real quick. Ann Arbor jammer just got a high block penalty, so for those of you who don't know, you cannot use your head. It's kind of really important for your whole body to function, so you cannot use your head to get through. But because they acknowledged the penalty but did not immediately get off the track, that jammer was then served an additional penalty. So instead of 30 seconds in the penalty box, this jammer will sit in the penalty box for 1 minute before they are released. The only way this might be shorter is if the other jammer were to get a penalty, but even then it would only reduce their, we'll call it their sentence, by 30 seconds. It looks like Mira, woo! Beautiful footwork by Mira, who is your jammer, and getting arms tangled up, but they are your lead jammer for Lakeshore, and they still have 30 seconds left to get some points on the board. Lakeshore going to do some offense, move some things around. Mira following where the offense goes. Beautiful whip around on the outside. Some nice footwork, and it's going to get almost through. Yep, it's through, and it's going to call off that jam. They said, you know what, that's enough. It's fine, which is also strategic. If they've had enough, then it's okay. It looks like we're going to get an official review for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. that is our assistant captain. That is Betty Lockdown, who is calling for an official review. So when that happens, the captain, who is a skating captain, as well as the assistant captain, who is on the bench, must be present unless one of the captains just so happens to be in the box. I will know what the official review is for after it's over, so we'll all find out together. Just a reminder, if you want to give shout outs to your favorite skater, to another fan, to a ref or an NSO, or just anybody in general to make their day feel better, heck, you can give a shout out to yourself because everybody needs a little pump up, right? They are $1 over at the merch booth. Also, I want to tell you all that we are having an after party tonight. That's going to be at Hearsay Brewing at 2350 West Liberty Street, Ann Arbor Road. Also, if you see what's happening tonight and you're like, you know what, I think I want to play roller derby, I think it's for me, awesome. Ann Arbor is currently in a crash course. They started on September 2nd, and it's not too late to join. So for more information, take yourself over to the Ann Arbor merch booth. Joining roller derby does not mean that you are specifically have to be the person who is out there doing the hit or being hit. You can also be a ref, you could be an NSO, you could do so many things. Roller derby has so many moving parts that it's not just the skaters who, I guess, make the track go round. It's everybody involved. Just a reminder, we have Top Dog out there serving up some food for us, as well as we want to thank not just our refs and our NSOs, but we also want to thank our med crew who's sitting over there underneath the scoreboard. Thank you to our medics who are here at every game, not only getting free tickets, but keeping us safe. They look out for concussions, any blood, or, hopefully nothing worse. But at roller derby, we take injuries very seriously. If the jam has to get called off for any reason due to injury, even if that person is A-OK, they still need to sit for 3 jams before they go back in. This is comes up to you, and she meows really loud, and then she licks your nose. She's a bad kitten. See, look. She's a great kitten. She is great. This is Beanie. Topaz. She's my other. Well, we have. So we have a nice little whistle that says that the official review is all done. Okay. I'm going to take a guess and say that Betty Lockdown won because nobody told me anything. But it appears that my guess would be it was a penalty on the other jammer who is now in the penalty box. Nutter is standing, so that means that their time was almost up, and you can't have roller derby without a jammer. So Nutter has now been released and is now going to be your jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Using some quick footwork, whoops, everybody's down on the ground. A whistle has been blown. Somebody's going to the box for, it looks like, a direction of gameplay. You cannot go in the opposite direction and hit somebody. Lakeshore's jammer has returned from the penalty box. Another whistle is blown. Somebody's going somewhere, and it's another Lakeshore jammer. None of your business, stuck up at the front with Jawbreaker Josie, who is doing a great job at doing one-on-one blocking, holding her back. Jawbreaker almost got a little bit of help from their teammate, but they had to go. Nutter, their biggest obstacle right now is either getting around easily, which they did, or they'd have to push them out of bounds. Nutter is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. It looks like we have a star pass to Jawbreaker Josie, who is stuck in between Wolfstone Crash and Bo Toxic and Murder by Proxy. Helena Roosevelt in the back playing some offense for Nutter as they try to scoot through the inside and do a little spin around, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Murder by Proxy demolishing that skater, a big fall, but Jawbreaker Josie is through. Not your lead jammer, but eligible to score points. Nutter's going to take advantage of the pile up on the track and get through and get another 2 points. We're getting a timeout called for a technical difficulty. It looks like we have a broken skate, which is quite unfortunate. So they're going to check the track and make sure there are no extra pieces of anything. We have our first shout out of the night. So somebody else go make a shout out so we can keep doing this. It says, Irene, you're our GOAT and our LeBron. Happy birthday, Irene. Yeah, we cheer for happy birthdays. Happy birthday, Irene. Get it. On the jammer line, we have Sydney Bean jamming for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, as well as TT jamming for Lakeshore. Sydney at the front, TT trying to work their way through and is picking apart, and TT is going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore, but Sydney Bean is out and is chasing them down quite quickly. Whistle is called, and it's going to be a 0-0 jam. No points picked up for either team. All right, quick question. Who's here for Lakeshore Roller Derby? We'd love to see it. And who's here for Ann Arbor Roller Derby? Okay, but the real question, who's here for Roller Derby in general? Cool. So when I'm here, my rule is I announce for good, or not announce, but like I cheer for cool things that happen, so it doesn't matter which team it is. I just like seeing people do cool things because that's awesome. Jawbreaker Josie is going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Raptor is stuck and taken off the helmet cover, but a beautiful star pass to Wolfstone Crash. Oh my goodness. Raptor taking a big old hit from Jawbreaker, but recovers quickly. Jawbreaker through, picking up 4 points, and is going to call it off before Wolfstone Crash can get any. Our score right now is 70 Ann Arbor Roller Derby and 29 Lakeshore. As I was saying, we cheer for good things that happen on the track. It doesn't matter whose team it is because it's really cool because we're not doing it. So, you know, we got to cheer for athleticism. Yay, athletes. Right now we have Sydney Bean jamming for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and number 22, Mira, jamming for Lakeshore. Now you can look. Mira is going to try to get around the front and is your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Sydney Bean taking out the helmet cover and trying to work their way through the Lakeshore blocker. Someone's taking a knee, getting caught up on the outside, pushing her to the out. Ann Arbor's getting ready for Mira again, and Mira is through. 4 points picked up, and we'll call it off for Lakeshore Roller Derby. They only do one home game a year, and I wasn't here for it. Yeah, because they do so many it's not like unless somebody's specifically coming in out of town, they don't. But they travel so much that it doesn't matter. On the jam line, we have number 05. That's TT for Lakeshore, and that's 74. That's a Raptor for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. TT is down, but back up. Raptor is going to push, take advantage of the fallen, jump around, Jawbreaker Josie, and be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Whoa, we got a tumble on the far end of the track. Jammer picking themselves back up. Raptor coming to a stop behind Lakeshore, trying to work their way through. A big hit by Jawbreaker Josie to try to play some offense for her jammer, but they were taken to the back and now behind Helena Roosevelt. Raptor just taking their time and going to slowly try to push Jawbreaker Josie out of the way. But Jawbreaker is delivering some beautiful shots, and Cutter is going to come up and catch them unawares and push them out. Unfortunately, Raptor is going to go off with a penalty, and we're going to have a start pass to Jawbreaker Josie from Lakeshore. So we are on a power jam for Lakeshore Roller Derby. So this jam will go for the full 2 minutes. And we're picking up the speed, trying to slow down. Jawbreaker doing an incredible job by taking whips off. Helenar is going to be your bridge for Ann Arbor, trying to keep the pack together and slow it down. 30 seconds left in this jam. Raptor is out, and Jawbreaker Josie only picking up 4 points during that power jam, which is great defense. But a whistle's gonna blow, and it looks like a blocker is gonna go to the box. But Raptor is through, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Jawbreaker Josie doing a beautiful whip on the inside. Something we really don't see that much in roller derby anymore. We're not afraid to not touch each other, but we don't touch each other like that. A big hit. There's a lot that just happened, so I'm not even going to bother trying to recap it. 4 points were picked up by Raptor before the jam came to its natural conclusion. 8 points for each team, bringing our score to 78 Ann Arbor, 41 Lakeshore, with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in this half. Sydney Bean is our jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and Mira is our jammer for Lakeshore. Whistle blows. The jammers are once again going to try to slow each other down, but Mira takes advantage of the confusion and is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Sydney flying through the pack and getting out, not your lead, but eligible to score points. Murder release from the penalty box as Mira is coming through. There's a yell to call it off, but Sydney's going to skate to the last whistle. 3 points picked up by Mira for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Up on the jam line, we have number 74, Raptor for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and that's 05, TT for Lakeshore. Both jammers stuck behind their respective packs. Murder by proxy, planning to play some offense and keep the pack moving for Raptor. TT stuck behind a 3-wall of Ann Arbor blockers. Ann Arbor finally seems like they're getting their momentum back of slowing down. It seems like whenever it gets faster, they're unable to catch jammers and allow them to take opportunities. So it's good to see them kind of recollect themselves. Lakeshore doing an incredible job. Thank you. Lakeshore doing an incredible job of also embodying that amoeba. I saw one of their blockers be able to literally pull out of the pack and go back and play offense. Whistles are being blown. Blockers are going to the box. We still don't have a lead jammer, and it's been over 30 seconds. We're almost at a minute. This is the longest we've gone without having a lead jammer. Out of play is called, and Raptor is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby with only 57 seconds left to score points. Start pass to Jawbreaker Josie. But Raptor does get to decide this jam as he's going to get through. Ooh. Some great offense being played by Lakeshore. A little bit of a tumble. Shrewd Volley is waiting there for Jawbreaker Josie, and Raptor takes advantage and gets through and picks up points. A big old whip sending your own teammate to the ground is not illegal, but it sucks. Raptor coming back up for another scoring pass. Jawbreaker Josie still stuck in the back, and it looks like she's going to play some defense as well, but Raptor's going to take advantage of that inside line and pick up 4 more points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. 8 seconds left in this jam. She can get a few more before the whistle blows. At least 1, 2. Okay, I see you. Little hop to the inside. 4 points were picked up by Jawbreaker during this time. No points picked up by Raptor. Looks like because Betty Lockdown won her official review originally, she gets to keep it and do it again. So we're going to have our second official review. We have our second shout out of the evening. It says, I love my wife, TT, and my mother-in-law, Cutter. Oh, we love this. We love when family plays together. So if you didn't hear that, somebody said, I love my wife, TT, and my mother-in-law, Cutter. So it looks like we got a wife and a mother-in-law playing on the same team. We love to see it. If you want to do a shout-out for yourself, for somebody on the track, anybody in general, please go to the Ann Arbor merch booth and go ahead and pay $1 for that. If you have any questions about roller derby, you can ask anybody about roller derby, but mostly the person who's standing over by the entrance that says, ask me about roller derby with the sign. They will be more than happy to answer any questions. As well, you can also ask me. I promise I'm not mean. I'll even share some hot Cheetos with you. And yeah. After this official review is over, we'll probably have one more jam. It looks like there's 17 seconds left on our jam clock. After this game, please stick around. We're going to have our Ann Arbor Roller Derby home team playing against Lakeshore's B team. Okay, this time I got to know what the official review is about, so if you're nosy like me, listen up. It looks like Betty Lockdown asked for an official review for a pack destruction to be a penalty to be given to Lakeshore because it looks like somebody intentionally destroyed the pack. The referees agreed, and once again, Betty Lockdown is queen of the official reviews and has won it. So Ann Arbor gets to keep their second official review of the evening. It looks like there's going to be a Lakeshore blocker sitting in the penalty box for the beginning of this jam. On our jam line, we have Nutter Your Business. And it looks like Irene out there jamming for Lakeshore. Nutter Your Business is up front. A little spill in the back, but Nutter Your Business is their lead jammer. However, Irene is out and is on their tail. The jam is going to get called a 0-0 jam. And that's a wrap. That's intermission for our first half of our first game. We're going to leave off and come back in 15 minutes. Right now, our score is 86 Ann Arbor and 48 Lakeshore Roller Derby. Is everybody having a good time? Okay, so let's hear some more cheering in the second half, all right? Make sure you go visit Top Dog and get your munchies, and visit Patine and get some cute little stickers and pins. Are you leaving? It was so nice to see you. And we'll see you back here in 15 minutes. Alrighty, and we are back in business. Who's ready for the second half of our first game? I know, I'm excited too. We had a couple of shout outs that came in during our halftime, and I wanted to make sure that our skaters hear it. Kitty Anna Jones, I've got a double one for you. It says, Kitty Anna Jones, you're perfect. And Kitty Anna Jones, you're my kitten, Kirkit. Remember, if you would like to do your own shout outs, they are $1 at the merch booth. Who's ready for the second half? Me too. Those of you who are new to roller derby, do you know more than you did before we started? Okay, that's really all I need. All right, here we go. For our second half, we have Sydney Bean jamming for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and she is our lead jammer. TT is jamming for Lakeshore. Sydney Bean is out and eligible to score points. TT still stuck behind Wolfstone Crash and Helena Roosevelt at the front, but a little tumble and TT is going to be out and is eligible to score points. Sydney Bean stuck in the back of the pack, slowly trying to make their way through, but it's going to tap her hips and call it off. 1 point picked up by Sydney Bean. Our current score is 87 Ann Arbor, 48 Lakeshore. We got 29 minutes to go in our second half of our first game. Don't forget to stick around. We've got a second game. It's going to be our Ann Arbor home team, the C team, as well as Lakeshore's B team. Up on the jam line right now, we have Mira. That is for Lakeshore Roller Derby, and 74 Raptor for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. And Mira is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Raptor still stuck in the pack, using some great footwork to try to get through, but it's brought to the back on the outside. Raptor going to take off that star, looking for a pivot to pass, but it's going to muscle their way through and not be your lead jammer, but now be eligible to score. Mira is out and is going to tap her hips. 4 points picked up by Lakeshore in that jam. So far tonight, our highest scoring 2 jams that we had were both by Nutter Your Business, who is currently on the jam line. Nutter picked up 16 points, each of their highest scoring jams in our last half. Number 922, that's Jawbreaker Josie on the line for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Jawbreaker Josie going to take the inside and try to push forward, goes around Murder, gets stuck behind Murder and Wolfstone Crash. It looks like Ann Arbor has a blocker in the box, so we have a 3-4 disadvantage in Ann Arbor's side, but Murder and Wolfstone Crash are doing a great job at the front of holding back that blocker, that jammer. Nope, out of play is called, and Jawbreaker Josie is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Star cover is off, and Nutter is looking for a star pass. Unfortunately, her pivot is busy and on the ground, trying to stop that jammer, but Jawbreaker Josie is going to get through, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Looks like we have a star stash, and Nutter is working their way through, gets around number 21, and that's Punky Bruiser, and is not your lead, but is eligible to score. Jawbreaker Josie getting through, picking up an additional 4 points for Lakeshore, and that will be the conclusion of our jam. 87-60 is our current score. Also, we're really quiet. Is everybody did everybody go eat and everybody has the itis now? Is everybody sleepy? Because we got to wake up. I can't be the only one running my mouth. It's really awkward. For those of you that are listening online, I'm sorry you're stuck with me. You can't get rid of me, so I hope you like me, and if you don't, too bad. On the jammer line, we have 05. That's TT, but Sydney Bean is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Looks like a cut track for TT, and we have a power jam for Sydney Bean. She gets tossed to the inside. Woo! One moment. But Leslie Ope is going to throw that blocker down to the ground, and Sydney Bean's going to recover and get out, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Man, I don't miss playing this game. I know that hurt. It's 4-4 blockers. Beautiful offense being played by Fresh AF. Sydney Bean meeting the front of the pack. And a spin on the toe picks up 4 more points for Ann Arbor. It looks like TT is out and bounces off of Fresh AF and is out and eligible to score points. Sydney Bean's going to run up the inside, get the call to call off the jam, picking up an additional 4 points for Ann Arbor. 99 Ann Arbor, 60 Lakeshore. On the jammer line, we have a Raptor for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and that's Irene for Lakeshore. Whistle blows. Irene's going to try to sneak around to the inside. Raptor using that footwork to go side to side, ping-ponging off of the Lakeshore blockers as she makes her way to the front. A little caught up, but Raptor is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Irene still stuck behind Wolfstone Crash and Helena Roosevelt and Batoxic, taking it off the helmet cover, looking for Cutter, but Raptor's going to jump through the inside created by her blockers and pick up 4 points. Remember, Roller Derby, you have to play offense and defense at the same time. We had a successful star pass, and Cutter is going to be your jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Big hit, and we have a tap to the hips. Raptor's going to call it off after picking up 4 more points. It looks like a Lakeshore blocker is going to go to the penalty box for a potential forearm penalty. And with that, we are over the century mark. Ann Arbor Roller Derby 107-60. Lakeshore, 23 minutes and 45 seconds left in our second half of our first game. On the jam line, we have number 18. That's None of Your Business. Up against number 922. That's Jawbreaker Josie. Jawbreaker stuck behind Fresh AF. Ooh. Shrewdful Ali is sending Fresh AF to the ground. Sorry about it, but it helped to push that jammer back. None of Your Business at the front, getting stuck behind those Lakeshore blockers. Jawbreaker Josie doing an incredible job of getting on the toe stops, and it looks like None of Your Business is going to be our lead jammer for this jam. Helmet cover is off. It looks like we have a possible star pass. None of Your Business taking advantage of the confusion, trying to get through, but stuck behind Jawbreaker Josie, who is proving to be a dynamic blocker and jammer with that pink helmet on her head. She is a member of Team Michigan. A whistle is going to be blown, and somebody is going to the box for a forearm penalty. We're going to start with 4 Ann Arbor blockers. Oh, but we're going to have official review called by Lakeshore Roller Derby. This will be our first one from them this evening. Real quick, I'm going to take a second to remind you that if you would like a shout out to your favorite player, your favorite ref, your favorite friend, maybe yourself, it's $1 up at the merch booth. Please go do that. We're also going to take a second to thank our sponsors, Expert Physical Therapy. Want to know the secret behind our strength on the track? Expert Physical Therapy. Their personalized care and focus on injury prevention keeps us rolling strong in Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Shout out to the amazing team for being our go-to support system. Expert Physical Therapy. Also, Sizu, an astonishingly thin, obnoxiously bright, boomerang-shaped hunk of technology, revolutionizing mouthguards across the universe by offering more protection, less mouthguard. A favorite of Ann Arbor Roller Derby. More protection, less mouthguard. Sizu. Also, a quick reminder, we are going to have an after party tonight. Join us at Hearsay Brewing at 2350 West Liberty Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Since I have so much time, we're also going to tell you that there is a crash course for those of you interested in being a part of Ann Arbor Roller Derby in some way. If you like what you're seeing tonight and want to learn how to be a part of the league, go to the Merce booth and go ask some questions. You could be a skater, you could be an NSO, you could be a ref, or heck, you could just be a fan like the rest of us here, but all the help and all of the volunteers that gets put in is what makes roller derby go round. We also want to thank our refs and NSOs who are doing this for free 99. They are volunteers, so we want to make sure that we're extra kind to them. Unlike NBA and NFL refs and, scorekeepers, they don't go to an official school. Like, yes, they do take tests, but there is no official schooling or ref recruitment program. It's just whoever wants to do it because they feel the call to blow the whistle. And so big thank you for our refs and NSOs. Also a huge thank you for our medics who thankfully get to sit and play on their phones because nobody's getting injured. We love to see it. But thank you all for donating your time and for hanging out with us. And I'm really glad that you get to be bored, so I'm not even gonna judge. Hopefully somebody tells me what the official review is about. Because otherwise I'm just going to be filling the mic time because they told me to. Thank you, Derive. Our official review was on the forearm penalty that was called to Jawbreaker Josie at the end of that jam. It will stand. That means that Lakeshore is going to lose their official review for this half. We have 22 seconds. Oh, look at that. It's like an angel number, 2222. Left in this half of our first game. The whistle blows saying that we are getting this rolling. Lakeshore is going to start down a blocker as Jawbreaker Josie is in the box. We have Sydney Bean jamming for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and it looks like Mira jamming for Lakeshore. Sydney Bean is out, is your lead jammer. In case you're wondering how we know who the lead is, it means that ref, who is Boss Kitty, is pointing at them and does the big old L. Sydney Bean is going to spin through, picking up 4 points. She's going to communicate with her bench that, yes, this is what we said we're going to do. Mira taking advantage of Ann Arbor being pushed to the inside, but Sydney Bean's going to spin around and pick up an additional 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Jawbreaker Josie out, and a swing and a miss. Mira picks up another 4 points. Sydney gonna try to go the inside, but Cutter is gonna cut her off. No points picked up for that pass. We have 8 and 8. Ann Arbor Roller Derby at 119. Lakeshore at 68. On the track jamming for Lakeshore, we have 05, that's TT, and that's Raptor jamming for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Big old hit, big cheer from Sonic Boom here on the side with this fan who is snapping it, and I love it. Leslie Ope gonna push back the pivot, and Raptor's gonna take advantage and run up that inside line. Is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. We had a beautiful hit and a nice recycle, bringing that Lakeshore jammer back. Leslie Ope gonna take a tumble, possibly over her own skates, but Raptor's gonna come through. Oh, jump over that. Unfortunately, that blocker is gonna get a low block. Maybe? Yep, and it's gonna be a power jam as a Lakeshore jammer is called off on a back block penalty. So for those of you who are new, you can't hit with your head, you can't stick your legs out and trip somebody on purpose, you can't push anybody down, and you can't, slam into somebody's spine. 4 points picked up by Sydney Bean. Ann Arbor doing a great job of keeping our 3 Lakeshore Blockers split up, but a big hit from, who is that, 713? That's Killer Buzz. Killed Raptor's Buzz by sending her to the ground. But Raptor moving on the toe stops, moving through. Picked up an additional 4 points. That's a 12-point jam so far. 35 seconds left. Lakeshore Jammer returning. Gonna try to hit Raptor, but is once again caught behind the Ann Arbor blockers. TT sneaking through the inside line, not your lead, but is eligible to score points. And with a tap to the hips, Raptor's gonna go ahead and say, I wanna be done. 4 points picked up. Raptor is now tied with Nutter for our highest scoring jam, 16 points. 16 seems to be the magic number. Nutter got 2 16-point jams in the first half, which is great because Nutter Your Business is up jamming right now. And Raptor is now there too. Whistle blows, and Nutter and Irene are off. Irene trying to take to the inside line. Ann Arbor is immediately onto her, slowing it down. Nutter is out and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Whistles blowing. Somebody's going to the box for a forearm penalty. It's an Ann Arbor blocker, but Nutter is going to take advantage of the confusion, picking up an easy 4 points for Ann Arbor. We got a pile up. And Murder is waiting for that poor jammer. I am so sorry. As they try to get through, Nutter hopping to the outside. Whoops! Taking a spill. It happens. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. It is what it is. We all get embarrassed, but it's okay. This is a family event, and we're all family here. Anyways, back into it. Nutter is pushing against those blockers. Ann Arbor blocker coming out of the box, going to play a little bit of offense further as Irene is still stuck on their initial pass. Nutter on their second scoring pass. 58 seconds left in this jam. Nutter being recycled to the back again, but it's okay. Honestly, this works in Ann Arbor's favor because when you're at an advantage like this, the best choice is to kind of stay penalty free, as well as you're going to stretch out the game a little bit. And Irene is through, not your lead jammer, but a hard fought to get out to be eligible to score points. And Ann Arbor blocker is going to the box. Nutter is through. The bench says, call it off. 2 points were picked up by Lakeshore. 143 Ann Arbor 70. Lakeshore 16 minutes and 50 seconds left in this half. Number 922, Jawbreaker Josie, is going to be your jammer for Lakeshore, as well as Sydney Bean for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Whistle blows. Jawbreaker Josie is an aggressive jammer and blocker, really using those shoulders to whip Ann Arbor around. All I see are heads bobbing around. Sydney tried to sneak to the inside, but number 3, that's Kitty Anna Jones, is able to push her back. But Sydney Bean is through and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Jawbreaker Josie is out and is hot. So Sydney Bean can either choose to get a couple points and call it, or call it off now. What it appears she does. No points picked up by Lakeshore. 1 point picked up by Ann Arbor Roller Derby. In the crowd, are we still having fun? Okay. I've been to different sports games now, so I know that we're supposed to like kind of cheer the whole time, I guess, or something. I don't know. Look, next season we're gonna have to work on our calls because we gotta have some type of back and forth. It's cool. We'll get there. Jamming right now is None of Your Business for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, and that is TT jamming for Lakeshore, but Nutter is going to accelerate through, get that lead jammer. TT is out and eligible to score points, but Nutter is at least a quarter of a track ahead. That means that they can get some easy points before it's time to wrap this thing up. And the jam will get called. 1 point picked up by Lakeshore, 2 for Ann Arbor. 146-71. On the jam line, we have Mira jamming for Lakeshore and Sydney Bean jamming for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Whistle blows and Mira is doing some great footwork, moving side to side to get Ann Arbor Derby to chase her. Good hit by Kitty Anna Jones, trying to push Shrewd Folly out of bounds. Realized that maybe that wasn't good and apologized immediately. But Sydney Bean is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Mira has the helmet cover off and is looking for a pass or a stash. Wolfstone Crash literally sends him in a circle around. I'm sorry, that's not Wolfstone Crash, that's Fresh AF. Sends Mira around in a circle and forces the reset. Kitty Anna Jones is doing incredible this half, because I said their name so many times, at keeping back these jammers and forcing the reset. We love to see it. A successful star pass, and that means that 7-13, that's Killer Buzz is your jammer for Ann Arbor. Sydney Bean's gonna go ahead and say, I'm done, and picks up 1 point for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. On the jam line, we have 922. That's Jawbreaker Josie against None of Your Business for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Jawbreaker Josie going to take a beautiful whip off a cutter, and they're going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. None of Your Business, whoops, has a star off, accelerates, and has to throw the brakes on right before they run over their own pivot, and is now caught again behind the Lakeshore blockers. Wolfstone Crash, who is their pivot, man. We'll talk about that in a minute. Wolfstone Crash, who is their pivot. Oh, it looks like there is a track cut penalty called on Jawbreaker Josie, and that is going to be a power jam for None of Your Business in Ann Arbor Roller Derby. So it looks like each team has full 4 and 4, so that means that they're going to be able to really shake things up. Ann Arbor, what are we doing? What's our strategy? Okay, Ann Arbor has a Lakeshore blocker trapped, but, you know, we could do something different. Lakeshore is trying to do an incredible job, actually, of holding Nutter back, and in the confusion, 30 seconds is already gone past, and Jawbreaker Josie comes out with literally a hit and sends Helena Roosevelt flying. A whistle has blown, and somebody's going to the penalty box. None of Your Business flying to the outside again, taking off the star, saying, listen, somebody else is going to have to do this. This is terrible. Lakeshore this half has done an incredible job of, once they get their stride, Lakeshore does a great job of locking down these jammers. None of Your Business flying through. Whistle is blown, and somebody's going off the track for a direction of game. It looks like a Lakeshore blocker is going to go off for a direction of gameplay. None of Your Jawbreaker Josie spins None of Your Business around, and they both just kind of look at each other like, we got 4 seconds left. Let's not. 4 points picked up in that half by each team. 151 Ann Arbor, 75 Lakeshore. 10 minutes, 55 seconds left in this half. Oh my goodness, it's Death Valley. What up, girl? I missed you. Death Valley on the jam line for the first time for Ann Arbor Roller Derby this evening against 05 TT for Lakeshore. Death Valley taking a bit, runs, oops, tumbles, but it's back up and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. We love to see it. TT stuck in the back behind Shrewd Folly, Fresh AF, as well as Leslie Ope. Helena Roosevelt playing some offense at the front, having to take a break to bridge. But Death Valley's doing a great job of pushing up those blockers. 4 points picked up for her. TT is still in the pack, has not been through, looking like we're going to take off the star and either try a star pass or stash. Death Valley doing a great job of hugging that blocker on the outside line. A quick reset, 0 hesitation, and it's going to power through the inside to pick up another 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Lakeshore's jammer is still not out yet, but we do have a successful star pass. That's the number 02. That's Scare Bear. And Scare Bear is going to be your jammer. A call from the bench, and from the bench coach, Death Valley is going to call it, picking up 12 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, 163 to 75. And we have another shout out. We have a shout out from the live stream. Murder, Wolf, Talks, and Hells. That line is terrifying and beautiful. We've got an official timeout by the officials. So no worries, nobody has to use their timeouts. If you're new to roller derby, each team gets 2 timeouts and 1 official review per half. Ann Arbor, if you remember, won their official review, therefore they got a second one and won that one. But unfortunately, they're not like rollover points or like, this is going to date me, but like rollover minutes back in the day. So you only get that 1 per half. Huge shout out to our photographers who are out there braving getting ran over, but they're doing an incredible job, and I can't wait to see the pictures that they post. Remember, if you're confused about anything, please ask somebody next to you. They know about roller derby. Sydney Bean jumping through the inside is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, but Irene is out, but being forced to reset. It looks like by Fresh AF, maybe. There's some confusion, but Sydney's flying through the inside again, and that's 4 points for Ann Arbor. It looks like we have a potential star stash and successful, but we have a power jam as Lakeshore's pivot turn jammer is going to the penalty box for a forearm penalty. That means Sydney Bean has 30 seconds to make something shake. Almost does, but Cutter cuts her off again, and as she's forced to reset. Sydney Bean coming back up, trying to get around Lakeshore blockers. Fresh AF doing some great offense, and Sydney Bean spinning through the inside. 4 points picked up for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. 50 seconds left in this. Yeah. A little bump up, Sydney recollecting herself, number 55. That is Bunsen Burner all over Sydney Bean, and she burning her up. But Mira is through and is not your lead jammer, but is out. Oh, and we're gonna have a little switch. Sydney Bean is going to go to the penalty box for a forearm penalty. That means that we are now again on a power jam, but this time in favor of Lakeshore Roller Derby. Remember, penalties last for 30 seconds. There are only 13 left in this jam. Fresh AF and Leslie oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, girl. That's a tough line. 5 seconds left to make something happen, and does. We love to see it. 4 points picked up for Lakeshore Roller Derby. That jam came to its natural conclusion. Sydney Bean is going to start in the penalty box. So when a jammer starts in the penalty box, they do get the opportunity to come out and steal lead jammer if they wanted to. It looks like 922 Jawbreaker Josie is going to be your jammer for Lakeshore. 5 seconds in the air. Ann Arbor down a jammer and a blocker. Lakeshore at full strength. Ann Arbor is going to lock it down. Sydney Bean is back in the party and is going to run through and be your lead jammer. She said, redemption. And is through. Jawbreaker Josie just trying to get out and stay clean, but is doing a little shuffle to the in and out. Ann Arbor is doing a great job at communicating and staying through. Sydney Bean picking up an additional 4 points for Ann Arbor. A beautiful star pass happened, and it looks like we have a successful star pass to Killer Buzz. Sydney Beans trying to sneak around Jawbreaker Josie is going to call off the jam, picking up 2 more points for Ann Arbor. For a second, we had a mild little, not palindrome, but kind of a twin score. It is now 181-79. We have 5 minutes and 30 seconds left in this half. Remember, stick around for the second game. It's going to be our Ann Arbor home team versus Lakeshore's B team. It's going to be exciting for sure. Jamming right now, we have number 05, TT for Lakeshore, and that's none of your business. For Ann Arbor Roller Derby, Nutter is going to shoot to the inside, get blocked, get cut off, and allow TT, well, not necessarily allow, but TT is going to take advantage of it and be your lead jammer. Nutter doing a great job at trying to fight off those blockers at the front. Ann Arbor getting ready, and Eleanor Roosevelt saving that and pushing that jammer out of bounds. Leslie Oak feeding the jammer to Fresh AF. And 3 points were picked up by Lakeshore. Looks like Ann Arbor is going to start the jam with 1 blocker in the box. Up to the jam line now, we have a Raptor for Ann Arbor Roller Derby and Mira for Lakeshore. Oh, I'm sorry. We got another shout out here. We have a shout out to Sydney Bean and all the Team Michigan skaters that are represented here tonight. It is a tight pack, if you will, as everybody tries to get through. Raptor taking advantage of the pressure, opening up and letting it fall, getting around, and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Ann Arbor doing a good job at holding back. Mira, they need to get back together. Murder with a big hit that takes her, Mira, and Wolfstone down. So Mira is going to take advantage and get through, not be able to score points, but will be, or sorry, not be able to, not your lead, but able to score points. Words. 3 points picked up by Ann Arbor in that jam. Our score right now is 184-82, 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Five seconds in the air. That's Jawbreaker Josie going against Death Valley. For Ann Arbor, Death Valley is through. And is your lead, oh, sorry, just kidding. Death Valley picked up a track cut penalty, and we are going to have a power jam for, oops. Oh my goodness. Everybody gonna hit the floor. And Jawbreaker Josie is not your lead jammer. It looks like Death Valley was awarded lead before the penalty, so this jam will go the full 2 minutes. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Jawbreaker Josie taking a big whip off of her own player, getting sent to the outside again by trying to take advantage of that outside line. That outside line is tricky, especially, you know, on the curve because, you know, inertia and all that. Jawbreaker Josie showing why she's on Team Michigan, doing that beautiful skill to get around that corner. Wolfstone Crash is now going to be your jammer for Ann Arbor. Jawbreaker Josie picking up 4 points. That's 8 points total. So far this jam, we still have 40 seconds left in this jam. Somebody's going down. It's not Wolfstone Crash. It's not necessarily Jawbreaker Josie. And she is through with another 4 points. Wolfstone Crash forced to reset behind Lakeshore. She's giving some instructions. She's giving some instructions to her blocker and basically, hey, Murder, come get this player. I need a little help. And Murder does. Jawbreaker Josie is back up for scoring points. We've got a great wall, 15 seconds left in this jam. Wolf is through, has picked up 4 points for Ann Arbor. Jawbreaker Josie with 12. We have 5 seconds left. Big hit from Leslie Oak. Picking it up, and Wolfstone Crash will sneak through and pick up 4 more points for Ann Arbor because everybody stopped skating when they thought it was over, and it wasn't. We have our highest scoring jam for Lakeshore this evening, 15 points picked up by Jawbreaker Josie in that last jam. Our score right now is 192-97. Ann Arbor is your lead. Sydney Bean is your jammer right now for Ann Arbor, as well as TT for Lakeshore. TT trying to sneak through the inside, but Sydney Bean's going to explode around the outside and be your lead jammer. But TT is out. It looks like we are going to, we have someone going to the penalty box. We have 8 seconds left in our actual clock, but we have 1 minute and 30 seconds left on our jam clock. Sydney's going to call off the jam from the ground, and that's going to be the end of our first game. Hold on before everybody runs. We love this, but I need everybody to wait a second before you approach the track. We're going to have we're going to give our refs and NSOs a second to count the points, recheck, and make sure there's nothing that they missed. And when the whistle, our nice little round tweet happens, what you can do then is approach that first orange line on the track, stick your hand out for a high five, but only when we get that nice little twirling whistle. This is also a good time to get your shout outs ready. There it is. Go ahead and approach the first orange line of the track. No, really, go for it. It's okay. The skaters are going to come by and give high fives. Our final score this evening is Ann Arbor B at 196 to Lakeshore 100. And take the track, Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Congratulations on your win, but we got to get this moving, so let's go. Tick-tock, goodbye. Go take your victory lap. We love to see it. This is your Ann Arbor Roller Derby B team taking their victory lap around. And now we have your Lakeshore Roller Derby taking their lap. Give it up for Lakeshore Roller Derby coming all the way down from Holland to come visit Ann Arbor and play an incredible game. We hope you all stick around for our second game this evening. We have Ann Arbor C team, which is our home team, coming up along with the Lakeshore B team. Make sure you ask someone about roller derby. Let's do some shout outs, and we'll see you all in, I think, like 30 minutes. Hello, hello. We are back for round 2. Who's excited? Ann Arbor is. Is everybody else excited? Thank you. So I got a couple shout outs I want to read off real quick before I forget. So these are all from the live stream. So remember, this is also being broadcast, so I'm embarrassing myself in public and all over the internet simultaneously. I love this. All right, live stream shout out. Thank you, Tidon and Torin from Bent Cat for the stream from Grimm. Drama, Ripper, Stabby, Quibby, and McKenna, you're the best Derby family. Hearts, Grimthy. And one more, Cappy Barbara, loves UC team, stay chill in the hot tub. So long as you know what it means, I don't need to know. All right, are we ready for round 2 of this evening? We've got Lakeshore Roller Derby's B team, as well as Ann Arbor Roller Derby C team. Are we ready to rock and roll? Skaters, are you ready? All right, let's do this. First up, we have Lakeshore Roller Derby, number 02, Scare Bear. 03, Stone Cold. I like that name. 170, Wildcat. 21, Punky Bruiser. 24, Trauma Queen. Number 3, Kitty Anna Jones. 321, Rainbow Crash. 383, Rink Wraith. 55, Bunsen Burnher. 6221, Gnome. 713, Killer Buzz. 745, Razor Burn. Happy birthday. 786, Princess Leia. 8008, Torch. And that is your Lakeshore Roller Derby B team. On the bench this evening, we have Cutter, Mollux, Jax, and Red. Give it up for Lakeshore Roller Derby one more time. All right, and your home team for this evening, Ann Arbor Roller Derby C team, or home team, number 11, your captain, Bo Toxic. 1202, Patsy Crime. 190, Death Valley. 2048, Alan Winch. Number 22, Savage Sand. Number 27, your other captain this evening, Snow Mercy. Number 35, Warm Regards. 414, Live, Laugh, Shove. Number 50, Hot Mess Express. Oh, are they not here? That's awkward. Nobody told me anything. Number 54, Riff Raff. 612, Generic Equivalent. 69, Sailor Psycho. 73, Bifrost. 76, Dark and Stormy. 973 Drama Llama. And 989 Razum. On your bench this evening for Ann Arbor, you've got Sydney Bean, Fresh AF, Sailor Swoon, and Wilkie Coffins. Give it up for your Ann Arbor C team. And now coming to the track, our favorite people. We have our non-skating officials and referees. Our skating officials for this evening are going to be Boss Kitty, Derive, Geo Knitter, Ope, Rob, Anybody, and Tall Order in Technical Difficulties. Our NSOs are going to be Annie DeSpanco, Betty, Big Tails, Fee, Frack, McKenna, Nebula, Principal Buttercup, Shelby Cobra, and Tornado Alley. Big round of applause for our officials this evening. And while I got you, one more big round of applause for our medical team who is sitting underneath the scoreboard. Thank you for keeping us safe and making sure we don't hurt ourselves even more than we usually do. And with that, we're just waiting for our refs to get in place, that one big rolling whistle to happen, and we'll be ready for some roller derby round 2. Woo! Yay! We love it. In case you weren't here for the first half, my name is Michelle Obama, so if you need anything, you can ask me, I guess. But I like candy, and I also like water. I also really like popcorn too. And if you have a dog, I would like to pet them. And if you have a baby, specifically between newborn and 8 months, I want to hold them. I will talk to your toddlers, but I want to hold a baby. Just so everybody knows. I'm just going to put that out there. Who knows? I'm manifesting right now. Sorry, had to take a personal phone call, but your lead jammer this evening is Sailor Psycho. Oh, but it looks like Sailor Psycho is going to the box. And so that means we have a power jam for Nomi and Lakeshore Roller Derby. Nomi is still stuck in. It looks like we're doing a star stash. And they're still trying to get through their own blockers as well as Ann Arbor blockers. Nomi is all the way at the back of the pack, and they are stuck behind, it looks like 35. That is Warm Regards. And we have a successful star pass. And that is to 8008. That is Torch. And then Sailor Psycho is back out of the penalty box. That means we are off of our power jam. And we are going to go for the full 2 minutes to get this game started. Torch is stuck and going to squeak through the inside, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore. Sailor Psycho now on her scoring pass will pick up 4 points. A whistle is blown, and it looks like somebody's going off the track for a multiplayer block. Both jammers are back up with 27 seconds left. A big hit from Dark and Stormy, sending Torch spinning a little bit. Sailor Psycho accelerating, trying to get through, but hit to the outside. That's number 24, Trauma Queen, who sent her spinning. Both jammers at a standstill with less than 10 seconds left in this jam. And with that quadruple whistle, the jam has come to its natural conclusion. If you're in the live stream, I totally forgot how to talk, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. Jamming for Ann Arbor, we have 54, that's Riff Raff. And 745, that's a Razorburn or Irene. Happy birthday, have fun getting hit. Anyway, it was funny, you guys can laugh. Because they're a jammer. It was funny. Anyways, jammers are both off. Irene trying to get through a 3-pack of Ann Arbor, accelerates to the inside, but that is, who is that? 414, that's Live, Laugh, Shove with a big hit that allows Riff Raff to be your lead jammer of Ann Arbor, but Irene is out and chasing them down. As Riff Raff skates through, they're gonna call off that jam, picking up 2 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. No points for Lakeshore. We have 7-8. Jamming for Ann Arbor, thank you. We have Bifrost and 789 for Lakeshore Princess Leia. Remember, we are doing shout-outs. Oh, thanks, Grim. Thank you, Grim. I'll read it in a minute. Anyways, jammers are off. Here we go. Princess Leia getting stuck behind that wall of Ann Arbor blockers, doing a great job. That's 1201. Patsy Crime pushing her to the outside, and Riff Raff is your lead jammer. I'm sorry, Bifrost is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Princess Leia is through, not your lead, but is eligible to score. A quick call from the bench. Words tells Bifrost to call it off. 2 points being picked up for Ann Arbor. And we have our first lead change of the evening. Ann Arbor with 9 points, Lakeshore with 2, 25 minutes, 45 seconds left in this game. Jamming right now, we have Death Valley for Ann Arbor, as well as Nomi jamming for Lakeshore. Death Valley hits the pack and is going to fake right, then left, and right again. It's through. Death Valley is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Nomi is pushing Ann Arbor's blockers to the front. Death Valley coming to meet a 4-wall of Ann Arbor blockers. That's Live, Laugh, Shove who pushed Nomi out of bounds. And they are recycling. Death Valley is through. Ooh, Live, Laugh, Shove have Nomi's number, and Nomi is really going to have to work to get past some leopard prints because that's going to be their nightmare for the rest of the night. I can tell. Death Valley is going head-to-head with those Lakeshore blockers, getting stuck on that apex of turn 1 and 2. We're stuck right in the middle. No real movement forward except for the feet moving around so nobody gets a standing. And Death Valley is through with 4 more points. Picked up for Ann Arbor. Nomi has the helmet cover off and is looking to pass it to a pivot. But Death Valley is going to skate through the outside, picking up an additional 4 points for Ann Arbor. Still a minute left to go in this jam. A whistle is blown, and it looks like the pivot. Oh, the pivot who had the star, looks like Lakeshore had a successful star pass. And there was a penalty to that, but we're also going to see our first jammer swap of the evening. Death Valley is going to sit. The Lakeshore jammer is going to be released, and so this jam will go for the full 2 minutes. Death Valley, because they got a penalty at the same time at the other jammer, they're going to serve the amount of time that the Lakeshore jammer had served. Oh my God, Live, Laugh, Shove, just everywhere, ready to go. And with spinning around, a little bit of confusion, and that is the whistle, the jam coming to its natural conclusion. 3 points, 3 points picked up by Death Valley. No more for Irene as they were out and ready to party. 15 points awarded to Death Valley in this jam. That is the highest scoring jam of this game so far. Our highest scoring jams of the evening were the first one in the first half by Nutter Your Business with 16. So let's see if that record can be broken. On the jammer line, your lead jammer for this evening is going to be Rink Wraith, and that is for Lakeshore. That is their first lead jammer of this game. Sailor Psycho was your jammer. They have the jammer cover off, so it looks like they're looking for a star pass. They're going to get caught up at the front and spin around out of bounds, reset real quick, look into their jam ref like, maybe we did this right? And they're getting stuck by Princess Leia. But they are through, and that's 2048. That's Alan Wench is eligible to score. Oh, and blows through the inside line, picking up an easy 4 points for Ann Arbor. Rink Wraith is still caught up, recycling in the back. Alan Wench sneaking through, hips on the back. 1 point picked up for Ann Arbor, 4 for Lakeshore. That brings our score to 29 Ann Arbor, 12 Lakeshore. On the jammer line right now, we have 8008. That's Torch. And we also have Riff Raff jamming for Ann Arbor. Riff Raff working the outside line, trying to get around those Lakeshore blockers. And Torch has come to a standstill with the Ann Arbor blockers doing an incredible three-wall, even though they do have someone in the pack. Live, Laugh, Shove, oh my goodness. I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna say their names so much tonight because they are all over those jammers, taking them from line to line to line and pushing them out successfully every single time. There's a solid three-wall up front, and Riff Raff sees an opening and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Torch has the helmet cover off and is begging for a star pass, but that pivot is stuck up at the front of the pack. A whistle is blown, and it looks like there was a track cut, so Ann Arbor is going to be on a power jam. With 1 minute and 6 seconds left, Torch is going to call for the play that they want. Ann Arbor is going to initiate Live, Laugh, Shove, making the first contact as Riff Raff tries to make their way through. Up on the inside, a bit of a tumble, allowing Lakeshore to get back together. But Ann Arbor's doing a great job at being aggressive with their offense and shaking it up a bit. Even if it's not successful, they can create some pockets. It works. A whistle is blown, and Live, Laugh, Shove is going off for direction of gameplay. Riff Raff picking up 4 points, and Torch is through, sneaking in from the penalty box. Not your lead, but is now eligible to score points. I'm going to say the whole thing. I'm going to. Riff Raff has recycled to the back of the pack, but Torch is through, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore. With a tap to the hips, Riff Raff is going to call out that jam. 2 additional points picked up by them in that jam. Our current total right now is 39 Ann Arbor, 16 Lakeshore, with 10 points being picked up by Riff Raff in the last jam. We have 19 minutes and 10 seconds left of this half, of our first half of our second game of this evening. Crowd, are you still having fun? Woo! On the live stream, I would ask y'all, but you're not here, so I'm going to assume you're having fun. And that is Irene through and is lead jammer, but Bifrost is right on their tail. Irene hitting the back, working their way around Ann Arbor, and Bifrost is going to go ahead and keep pushing and not stop. Irene's getting stuck behind Live, Laugh, Shove, and that looks like 35. That's Warm Regards. And they are working really hard. They take a knee, pop back up, but they are through, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore. It works out in their favor because Bifrost is still stuck in a pack of Lakeshore, but they're going to spin around the outside and also get through, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor. Big hit by 7. Oh man, I'm sorry, I can't see your number. And double tap to the hips. I'm sorry, that was a big hit by 76, Dark and Stormy back there. And a tap to the hips, and Irene is going to call off the jam. We have a shout out from Grim from the live stream. She says, Bamia, your voice is one of my favorite sounds of Derby. Happy to have you announcing. Grim, don't flatter me if you're not here and bringing Cappy Barbara. We got things to talk about. 5 seconds up in the air, Rink Wraith is jamming for Lakeshore, and that's 190 Death Valley jamming for Ann Arbor. Death Valley is out front pushing against a 3-wall of Lakeshore, while Rink Wraith is stuck behind. That's 22 Savage Sand, as well as 8, as well as generic equivalent. I'm sorry, that's 6, yep, generic equivalent. Whistle has been blown. Someone's going to the box, but it's not our jammer. who is our lead jammer, and that's Death Valley. Rink Wraith sneaks through on the inside line. They're not your lead, but eligible to score points. Death Valley is back in the back, coming to that 3-wall, looking for a little offense to be played by Ann Arbor, which is not happening because they're going to set right on up for Rink Wraith to come right on back. Death Valley is doing a great job at just keeping simple and pushing forward. Savage Sand knocking that jammer out of bounds, but doing a great job at recuperating. Death Valley coming back up, whistles blowing. Somebody's going to the box for a forearm penalty. Rink Wraith is out. Death Valley is looking, say, hey. But number 3, that's Kitiana Jones with a big hit. Woo. Nice and slow is what I'm hearing from the bench, and that's exactly what you kind of want to do right now. We got 15 seconds left in the jammer. We hate to see a jammer go to the box. Being patient, Death Valley picks up another 4 points for Ann Arbor. Rink Wraith getting taken out by Live, Laugh, Shove with a direction of gameplay and exploding through to take the rest of their points. Death Valley sent to the floor, but not before picking up one more point for Ann Arbor. An 8-9 jam. Ann Arbor Roller Derby's at 54 points. Lakeshore at 30. Jamming for Lakeshore, we have 6-2-2-1. That's Nomi. And for Ann Arbor, we have Sailor Psycho. Sailor Psycho taking a slow and patient approach and using some explosive footwork to try to get around the outside is reset. Nomi trying to work their way around Savage Sand, and some beautiful offense being played by 7-1-3. That's Killer Buzz trying to help them out. But it's going to be Sailor Psycho as your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. A bit of a pile up in the back between Savage Sand, Nomi, and Killer Buzz. But we have a successful star pass to their pivot, who explodes out of there. And we're gonna have a call off from the ground from Sailor Psycho from picking up at 1 point that game. 155-30. Remember, if you would also like to shout out the skaters that are on the track, you can pay $1 up at the merch booth to go ahead and get it. They're fun. Besides, like I said, I get to embarrass myself all over the internet, so you can make it say whatever you want within reason. This is a family event. Up on the jam line, we have Riff Raff jamming for Ann Arbor, and that's Razorburn or Irene jamming for Lakeshore. Riff Raff doing some great footwork, moving side to side, trying to get Lakeshore to break it up, and they're gonna get some offense that helps them out a little bit from generic equivalent. In the back, Irene is having a really tough time against Live, Laugh, Shove. Out of play has been called, and Ann Arbor is going to speed up to reform, but do a really good job at continuing to hold that jammer behind them. I see hands on the air, and Riff Raff got pushed to the outside, but it's going to squeak through on the inside and be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. We had a successful star pass, and even though everybody's hit the ground, nobody got a penalty, and that is to Torch, who is going to take it and be your pivot turn jammer, as Riff Raff is going to get a call to call off that jam, picking up 1 point for Ann Arbor. Remember, if you know nothing about roller derby, the only way you're going to learn is by asking. I see Hanover Fist carrying the Ask Me About Roller Derby sign, but you can also ask me. I promise I'm nice. And with that, Bifrost is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. But Rink Wraith is back up and is trying to look for a way through. Warm Regards, they sneak past Warm Regards, but only to get caught back up. But they're able to squeak through on the inside. With a call from their bench, Bifrost is going to call it off, but not before picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor. We've got a 20-point game. And so for those of you who are new to roller derby, we don't start thinking that anybody has necessarily won or lost a game specifically until the second half, and maybe with we'll say a 50-point difference. Roller derby games can change fairly quickly in a matter of seconds, so you never want to count a team out right from the get-go. It's not really like football where you're like, they ain't gonna get it together, because they do, and they will. Jamming right now for Lakeshore, we have Nomi, but a whistle's being blown, and somebody's going to the box. It's going to be your Ann Arbor jammer. That's Death Valley with a back block, and so that leaves Lakeshore on a power jam. If Nomi can successfully get out and be lead jammer, they'll be able to score some points. Another whistle's blown, and everybody kind of freezes. They're like, who is it? And it's going to be Live, Left, Shove heading to the box, and Nomi is your lead jammer for Lakeshore. They're giving their hello, let's do something, let's shake it up. And Lakeshore springs into action, and it works beautifully, getting them 4 points for Lakeshore. Death Valley is back out of the box and attacking the back of the pack. Remember, they are not your lead jammer. However, if she gets out, then she will be able to score points. Ooh, big hit to the inside. That's by 27, Snow Mercy, one of your captains for Ann Arbor this evening. 2 points picked up by Nomi in that last jam. What was that, 2? That's 2, right? Okay. I like the way you hold the 2. Nine minutes and 45 seconds left in this half. 6 points picked up by Lakeshore in our last jam. We have 60-36. Right now jamming, we have Princess Leia and Sailor Psycho. Thank you. Both jammers are hitting the back of the pack. Princess Leia exploding up the inside, and they are your lead jammer for Lakeshore. But Sailor Psycho is out and is actively chasing them down. Princess Leia is going to come up to their own blockers, but it's going to call it off. Picking up 1 point. 1 point for Lakeshore. That's okay. We like to see it. 1 point is better than no points. And sometimes no points is better than some points. We have another shout out. This is for Death Valley. Go V. You got this. We love you from Lay and Austin. If you too want to shout out your favorite skater or yourself, go to the merch booth and pay $1 here. Right now on the jam line, we've got Rink Wraith and Riff Raff. This sounds like one of those seashells. What? See, I can't even do it. Seashells. Anyways, alliteration was never my favorite thing anyways. But both jammers are still stuck behind the blockers. Riff Raff doing a good job at moving side to side, trying to move them forward. And Rink Wraith just has the advantage of having someone up there to play offense for them. Nomi is doing a good job at creating some pockets so they can at least move forward. Rink Wraith takes a little spill on the inside, but Ann Arbor's wall is kind enough to come back up to her so that way she doesn't have to reset. But Lakeshore, I can't say the same thing. That's 55. That's Bunsen Burners burning Riff Raff and holding her back. A little pile up in the front. And this time Rink Wraith will reset, maybe to get a little bit of a running start to try to get through. But number 11, their captain, Bo Toxic, is holding them down. We're at 1 minute. This is the longest we've gone so far this game without a lead jammer. Riff Raff trying to get through the inside, but once again, that is, I believe that's 55 again. I can't see that far. I've got good eyes, but not like that. It's a nice little cluster at the front. It's out of my eye line. Here we go. We've got the helmet cover off by Rink Wraith. And even though they did have the option to be lead jammer, because they removed the helmet cover before it was called, they will not be lead jammer. So this jam will go for the full 2 minutes, which just 24 seconds left. So that gives each jammer enough opportunity to get some points. Big hit by Bo Toxic, popping rink right to the inside. Number 55 from Lakeshore. That's Bunsen Burner taking Riff Raff back. We got 7 seconds left in this jam. Each jammer trying hard to pick up some points before this is over. Riff Raff trying to sneak through the outside, picks up 3 points, and Wraith will pick up 4. 63-41. 3 points picked up by Ann Arbor, 4 by Lakeshore. 6 minutes left in the first half. Jamming right now, we have Bifrost for Ann Arbor, and that is Razorburn or Irene, whose birthday it is today. I'm not going to stop saying it. Jamming for Lakeshore. Each team has a full 4-pack. And so Bifrost is going to take off, kind of going to the inside, and Irene is going to explode through the hole that was opened up, and they are going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. But Bifrost is out and is going to speed around the track to chase him down. Depending on what Lakeshore does, they might only do, a quick stop, a quick little couple points and move it along, but Bifrost is out, and they're going to pick up 4 points for Ann Arbor. Irene getting spun around, but there's a whistle blown. Someone is going to the penalty box for a direction of gameplay. They're going to go ahead and call off the jam. 4 points picked up by each jammer. 67-45, 5 minutes and 14 seconds left. Jamming now, we have Princess Leia and Death Valley for Ann Arbor. We're going to have an official timeout. That's a timeout that's called by the officials. And the timeout's going to be done. I'm going to take a second to thank our sponsors anyway. Expert Physical Therapy, we appreciate you. Sizu, thanks for the mouth guards. They're incredible. And don't forget to come to the after party at Hearsay Brewery. Also, thank you for our food truck this evening, Top Dog, as well as our vendor, Patine, who came out this evening. Remember, if you want some Ann Arbor Roller Derby merch, you still have a few minutes to go check out the merch booth. And if you like roller derby and you like what you're seeing, we're getting a little bit of track maintenance. Appreciate you, Wolf. Then Ann Arbor has a crash course going on right now where they will teach you how to skate, teach you the basics of roller derby, and let you kind of choose your own adventure between being a skater, referee, and a non-skating official. Man, I'm having those Bill Clinton pauses, and it's eating me up right now. Death Valley sent to the ground, and it's going to be Princess Leia is your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Death Valley has his helmet cover off and is going to get popped to the inside by a Lakeshore blocker. But Kitty Anna Jones is going to take them back. They're going to reset. And Princess Leia do an incredible job at pushing the pack forward and getting 4 points for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Death Valley is still stuck in the pack. There's a little bit of a pileup. Looks like they may have dropped the helmet cover. That's cool. Good news is they can pick it right back up. Death Valley flying through on the inside. Not your lead, but eligible to score points. Bo Toxic all over that jammer, but Princess Leia is going to call it off, picking up 8 points for Lakeshore. 4 minutes left in this half. Ann Arbor 67, Lakeshore 53. See, I told you it was a close game. Rink Wraith is out for Lakeshore, as well as Sailor Psycho for Ann Arbor. Sailor Psycho taking a small approach. They're trying to add a little bit of a wall, but Rink Wraith is going to explode and be your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Whistle is blown. Somebody's going to the box, but it's not either one of your jammers, so that's cool. It's going to be a Lakeshore blocker. Rink Wraith hits the back of the pack. Sailor Psycho trying to run to the inside. I believe that's warm regards playing a little bit of offense. Oh no, I was wrong. That's Dark and Stormy. Forgive me for thinking I knew everything. But it looks like Sailor Psycho is going to go to the penalty box for a forearm penalty. So that means that Rink Wraith and Lakeshore have a power jam. They've got 30 seconds to take advantage. Now that was for sure warm regards. And she sent, and they sent them down with the biggest warm regards, sending Rink Wraith scrambling. Dark and Stormy sending Rink Wraith to the ground and forcing the call off. 3 points picked up for Ann Arbor before Sailor Psycho went to the box, and 7 total picked up by Lakeshore. We now have a 10-point game at 70-60. Sailor Psycho is going to start in the penalty box, but that does not mean that she cannot come out and get lead jammer. It happens all the time. But we have Irene, who is jamming for Lakeshore on their own. Lakeshore going to play some offense to try to get them through, and live left shove with a big ol' hit, taking them down, and Irene is going to play better safe than sorry. And Sailor Psycho is going to redeem themselves by getting lead jammer right out of the box. 27 Snow Mercy trying to snow down Nomi because Lakeshore had a really good star pass. Whistle is blown, and Nomi is going to the penalty box, and it is going to be a power jam for Ann Arbor and Sailor Psycho. Ann Arbor doing a great job of trying to break things up and open up the inside line for Sailor Psycho. They literally are holding her up. Sailor Psycho will call the jam after picking up 3 more points for Ann Arbor. Official review is going to be called by Lakeshore. So we're going to put a nice little pause on the game and allow Lakeshore to do that. Remember, during official reviews, the captains and assistant captains are going to be present, and the only people that are allowed to speak are the ones that call the official review. You can't argue it. Sorry, it's not for debate. It's just saying what happened. I will find out what the official review is when I find out, and y'all are just going to have to roll with it. I believe, if I remember correctly, this is Ann Arbor. They're celebrating their 15th season of being Ann Arbor Roller Derby. And then also, to date myself, I was wave 2. So I was there from, as well as Slamlet over there. So yeah, wave 2, that was back in 2011. Back in 2011. I was the youngest on the team when I joined. And every time we went out after, I got kicked out of the bar because I was not 21. And then I turned 21, and yeah, that was a long 3 years, it felt like. But it's okay. I don't play roller derby anymore. I just had surgeries to fix things from roller derby, but it's cool. I still love it, still respect the sport, appreciate all these athletes that are out here giving their body and their heart to the sport. So give a big round of applause to these roller derby athletes. Okay, now that I know the tea, so can you. Get your cups ready because I'm about to pour it and it's piping hot. Lakeshore wanted to have an official review to assess a skating out of bounds penalty for the jammer for Ann Arbor in the last jam. It was observed, and so therefore Sailor Psycho is going to go back to the penalty box and start their there's that stupid Bill Clinton pause again. They're going to start their jam in the penalty box. Nomi is going to be released, and also Lakeshore gets to retain their official review for the rest of this half. Nomi is up and is through. They are going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Sailor Psycho has been released. Nomi coming up to a 3-wall, but there's some great offense being played. Sailor Psycho is through, not your lead jammer, but is still eligible to score points. Nomi trying to push through, but is going to tap their hips and put an end to it. 3 points picked up by Nomi in that last jam. We had a successful timeout called, even though our regular clock is at 0, and we must have had 1 second. But Ann Arbor called a last minute, yes, we still had 1 second left. So Ann Arbor called a last minute timeout, so we will get another jam before the end of this half. So if you can see the scoreboard, if you can see the scoreboard, the little 1 second, that is our official time clock. That's how we keep track of everything. Everything on the other side, the 38, that's how long our timeout has been, and that's also, you'll see, it has 2 minutes, and that is how long each jam is. Each jam is 2 minutes of hell, if you've ever done it. But it's fun. It's why we keep doing it. Ann Arbor has the lead right now, 77, but Lakeshore has been coming up. They're sneaking up right behind them at 63. So we will have one more jam. That's Irene jamming for Lakeshore, and then we have Bifrost jamming for Ann Arbor. Whistle is blown. Both jammers are off. Bifrost is going to sneak to the out, then the in. Irene is going to sneak through. Big hit from Bo Toxic, going to send them out and force the reset. Ann Arbor is going to have to get back together if they don't want that to happen. Irene is going to run through the inside and be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Bifrost has the helmet cover off and is looking for a star pass, but that's 55. That's Bunsen burner all over that jammer. And with the assist from Kittiana Jones, but we do have a successful star pass to Bo Toxic, the captain this evening, as Irene tries to get through and is going to hit the hips twice and call it off after picking up an additional 3 points for Lakeshore. We're going to take a 15-minute intermission. Our current score right now is we have a 10-point game. I'm sorry. I'm not good at math, but you know what I mean. Just deal with it. 77 Ann Arbor, 66 Lakeshore. We'll see you back in 15 minutes. Remember, this is going to be your last time to get some shout-outs. The merch booth will be closing after halftime, so if you want to get some shout-outs, doesn't matter how silly it is $1. And you can go ahead and pay it, and I will say whatever you want. If you're listening on the live stream, hi. We'll see you back in 14 minutes and 20 seconds. welcome back to our second half of our second game, Ann Arbor Roller Derby versus Lakeshore Roller Derby. Ooh, we have a smaller crowd, but that's okay because small crowds can still make some big noise. Are we ready for the second half of the second game? On the live stream, you have no choice because if it's on your TV or on your phone, I'm in your house. How are you? Anyways, out on the jam line right now, we have Riff Raff along with Nomi jamming. Riff Raff is through and is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Nomi is still working their way through. That's Live, Laugh, Shove, and Botoxic at the back of the pack, holding on tightly. But Riff Raff is going to come against that Lakeshore blocker, spin around, but no. Oh, we have a beautiful star pass that just happened to Torch, who sped through the outside. They're not your lead jammer, but they are now eligible to score points. Riff Raff is going to call it off after picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor. Thank you. Oh, I've got 2 shout-outs here. I have one, and it's not for roller derby, but it's still important, so everybody listen. Congratulations to the Ann Arbor Pumas on a hard-fought draw against the Canton Rangers. This is a kids' soccer team, so y'all better cheer for the Ann Arbor Pumas. Woo! Chris and Ethan, you guys rock. A big hi to Bella and Hattie. On the jam line right now, we've got Bifrost, who is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. But out is Irene, and they are up and ready to score some points too. A big pop from Ringfraith, sending Bifrost to the outside. No points picked up by Lakeshore, and we're going to talk from the, 2 points for Ann Arbor. 83-66. Up on the line now, we have Death Valley and Princess Leia. Death Valley exploding through that inside line is going to be your lead jammer. Princess Leia, though, trying to get around the outside. A big hit from Botoxic, sending them back. They're forced to reset, but Death Valley is back and ready to score points, pushing on that inside line, making their own offense. A whistle is going to be blown, and they are out 4 points for Ann Arbor. Get confused. It looks like Death Valley is being sent to the back. It looks like the pivot for Lakeshore was sent to the box on a penalty, but Death Valley is through, picking up 4 points. So Princess Leia explodes from the outside, but Live, Laugh, Shove. Incredible timing, but unsuccessful. And Princess Leia is through, not your lead, but is eligible to score points. From the outside and from there, we just had call it. 3 points picked up by Ann Arbor in that jam. 11 points. 94-66. 26 minutes and 42 seconds left of jamming. Next, we have Sailor Psycho along with Rainbow Crash. This is their first time. Oh, sorry. This is Nomi. Sailor Cycle and Nomi are out. A whistle's already blown. Somebody's going to the box for a direction of gameplay. A big pile-up happens, and Sailor Cycle is the first to be first up, but that's an Ann Arbor blocker going to the penalty box. That gives Nomi the chance to explode to the outside, and they are going to be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Sailor Psycho has the pivot, has the helmet cover off, putting it back on. They're not your lead, but they're eligible to score points. Ann Arbor making a tight little 3-person group at the front, and Nomi is going to get through. They're going to try to call it off. They will. pick up 2 points for Lakeshore, bringing their total to 68. Up jamming for Lakeshore, we have Rink Wraith as well as Riff Raff. Ann Arbor is still down a blocker, so we have a 3-4 advantage for Lakeshore. Riff Raff fighting on the outside line and really getting hung up behind Princess Leia, but somehow it's working. So, however, Killer Buzz makes a reset and a big hit from Scare Bear on the inside, but quick recovery from Riff Raff. Rink Wraith is still stuck in the back and is working their way, moving side to side to try to get around Lift Left Shove, but Riff Raff is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Riff Raff is already back up past at least 2 blockers and is through 4 more points for Ann Arbor. Rink Wraith has their helmet cover off, looking for a pivot to pass it. Takes a big hit on the outside from Live Laugh Shove as Riff Raff is already back up and only needs to go against 1 more Lakeshore blocker before picking up additional 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Rink Wraith explodes through the pack. Not your lead jammer, but still eligible to score points. Riff Raff hit to the outside. Taking a peek at their third base coach, who said, call it. They pick up 3 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. They were across the century mark, folks, at 105.68. 11 points picked up by Bifrost in that last jam. 23 minutes and 50 seconds left in the second half of our second game this evening. Bifrost is your jammer for Ann Arbor, but Irene, that beautiful one-toed spin. Happy birthday to Razorburn. They are your lead jammer for Lakeshore, but Bifrost is out and hot on their tail. Irene coming through, already starting the call. 1 point picked up by Lakeshore. On the jam line, well, jamming right now, we have Death Valley as well as Nomi. Death Valley getting hit to the inside. That looks like by 20, nope, that's 14. Who's 14? Death Valley stuck in the front by a 3-pack, scoots by Trauma Queen and is out, and is your lead jammer. Nomi taking a big hit in the back from Live Laugh Shove. They're going to go ahead and take off that star and look for their pivot to go ahead and pass. Death Valley back into play, and Nomi explodes through. And they're not your lead, but they're eligible to score points. Death Valley going to come up, try to get a quick couple of points and call it off, and does. 1 point picked up by Lakeshore, 2 points picked up by Ann Arbor. 111 to 71.
So in the winter this gets turned into an ice rink, and they play hockey here. That's why all the Moritera. So like in the summer though, sometimes you roller hockey, but they have they rent it out all summer long so like we practice, play, everything here. So the summer can get to 100 degrees in here. It's hot and humid.
Up on the jam line, we have Rink Wraith as well as Sailor Psycho. Sailor Psycho at the front bursting through. It's going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Rink Wraith taking a little bit of a tumble back behind Ann Arbor blockers. Sailor Psycho up, scoring point. Rink Wraith touching her helmet. Ooh, almost through. That foot coming up way in the air from Sailor Psycho. Quick recovery. A whistle is blown. Somebody's going to the box for a forearm. It's going to be one of the Ann Arbor blockers. It's dark and stormy, but that Ann Arbor blocker was holding them back, but Rink Wraith is through, and so is Sailor Psycho after a big explosion and everybody hitting the ground in that second turn. Thank goodness the action's coming right in front of me so I can see it all happen in live time. Oh, there was beautiful offense played by Kitty Anna Jones. Unfortunately, this floor is wild. It changes whenever it feels like. Most of you know it's cooling down, so as it cools down, it's getting slippery, which unfortunately impacts the flow of the gameplay. I will tell you that you all are lucky that it's cooling down instead of heating up. If you've ever been to Burr Park in the middle of the summer when the sun is up until 10 p.m., it becomes, Hashtag indoor sports. It can become a sauna in here, and we love it so much. Me neither. I don't miss it. Up on the line right now, we have Irene jamming for Lakeshore, as well as Riff Raff jamming for Ann Arbor. Riff Raff being pushed to the end, to the out, but Irene is going to take some long strides and be your lead jammer for Lakeshore. Looks like 54, Riff Raff is going to get called on a penalty, and that means, Irene would have been on a power jam. Unfortunately, that ended very quickly. 3 points picked up by Lakeshore, but that is okay, because Princess Leia is locked and loaded and ready to go jam. And Lakeshore will probably have at least a full 30 seconds, if not, like, we'll say 28.5. Because Riff Raff had just sat down before Irene had called that jam on. So Lakeshore is going to have the advantage to play some offense and really get this moving and maybe change the trajectory of this game. Princess Leia stuck, but Lakeshore is doing a really good job at opening up that inside line so that Princess Leia can get lead jammer. Remember, even if you're an Ann Arbor fan, everybody can just cheer for good roller derby. It's kind of like when you go to a basketball game and you don't know what's happening and you just go, yay! Same thing. Warm regards getting stuck in the back as Lakeshore holds down that pack, but Riff Raff is out, exploding around the outside. Not your lead, but cleanly getting through the pack and is now eligible to score points. Princess Leia stuck on that line, and unfortunately is going to pick up a track cut penalty. So now we have a reverse power jam. Okay, never mind, just kidding. It's a double reverse power jam. Oh, and they sat down at the same time. So both of them are gonna get sent right back out because you cannot play roller derby without a jammer, right? So like, that happens. They're like, shoot. So had one sat down for like a second before the other, that other person would have had to wait a second. Riff Raff is through, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor. We still have 35 seconds left in this jam. Princess Leia running along the inside beautifully, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore. Riff Raff going to the outside, resetting, 25 seconds left. Lakeshore blocker. That's Kitty Anna Jones bringing her back, and Princess Leia speeding through the outside, making a quick right turn to get through there. Riff Raff speeding up, trying to get there. There's a penalty going to an Ann Arbor blocker as the jam comes to its natural conclusion. Ann Arbor and Lakeshore picking up an additional 2 points. So 10-10 jam. Your score is 131-88. official review is being called right now, so we're going to take a second to chill. Lakeshore Roller Derby is calling the official review. Remember, official reviews, you get 1.5. And so this is to say, hey, y'all may have not caught something, and I got something to say about it. Just want to take a quick second, to thank our sponsors one last time. Expert Physical Therapy. Want to know the secret behind our strength on the track? Expert Physical Therapy. Their personalized care and focus on injury prevention keeps us rolling strong at Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Shout out to the amazing team for being our go-to support system, Expert Physical Therapy. And Sizu, an astonishingly thin, obnoxiously bright, boomerang-shaped hunk of technology, revolutionizing mouth guards across the universe by offering more protection, less mouth guard. We got to talk about this universe thing, because our aliens using this. Do y'all know something I don't? A favorite of Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Me too. Thanks for saving my teeth. More protection, less mouth guard. Sizu. And remember, if you want to join us for the after party, it's at Hearsay Brewing. But I'm about to get the tea from Geo Knitter. So get your cups ready, because I'm about to spill it. Okay, are you ready? Because I'm about to spill the tea. So, Lakeshore used their official review to challenge that there was a blocking after the whistle, so an illegal contact after the fourth whistle on a black 7-6, and the refs agreed that did happen. And so Ann Arbor is going to start with 2 blockers in the penalty box for this next jam. Lakeshore will retain their official review and get to use it one more time. Maybe 2, who knows? But Bifrost is gonna somehow take advantage of this and be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor, but Nomi is out behind them. Bifrost exploding through that outside line, and they are back. And so is Nomi, ready to hit it, but Bo talks it, delivering a beautiful blow. And Bifrost is through, picking up 4 points. Whistle is blown. Somebody might be going to the box, but Nomi squeaks through on the inside and picks up 4 points for Lakeshore. Looks like both of Ann Arbor's blockers are returning from the box, perfectly playing some offense. And from the bench, they'll say, wrap it up. Go ahead and call it. 4 more points picked up for Ann Arbor, none for Lakeshore. 139-92. 14 minutes, 55 seconds left in this game. Official timeout by the officials has been called.
Yep. Math. I don't do math.
On the jam line right now, we've got Death Valley for Ann Arbor and Razorburn. Irene is your lead jammer for Lakeshore, having the best birthday, but Death Valley is going to chase them down, and they're going to call it off. 0-0 for everybody.
I know. It's like I also talk in TikTok, so like I'll say something and then I like wind up singing something after, and I'm like, oh, sorry, that happened.
On the jam line right now, we have Sailor Psycho for Ann Arbor as well as Rink Wraith for Lakeshore. Each of them have a separate pack, and Sailor Psycho is going to be your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Rink Wraith still stuck in the pack, getting up off the ground, but Live, Laugh, Shove has got their number. Sailor Psycho trying to run through 713. That's Killer Buzz, but gets through and picks up 4 points. Oh my goodness, a big old spill. And it looks like Live, Laugh, Shove is going to go out for a forearm, as well as that blocker is going to go for a blocking out of play penalty. So Ann Arbor has one blocker on the track right now, and that is, oh my goodness. Yeah, let's go ahead and call that, because that was wild, huh? Oh, yeah. Okay, 3 points were picked up by Ann Arbor in that jam. I'm sorry, 8 points were picked up. 3 points Rink Wraith picked up as well. Our score right now is 147-95. We got 12 minutes left in this game. That was a wild one. Let's see if we can do better this time. Ann Arbor down 2 blockers. We got Riff Raff on the jam line as well as Nomi. Riff Raff stuck behind that full line of Lakeshore blockers. Nomi also flying. We got a whistle blowing. Ann Arbor is back down to one blocker back down to one blocker, but Riff Raff is through and is your lead jammer. Incredibly, Nomi is out, not your lead, but it's eligible to score. That one blocker in the front, that was Dark and Stormy holding it down. Oh, Riff Raff was not your lead jammer. Okay. Riff Raff was not your lead jammer. It was Nomi. Nomi called off that jam. Whew, a lot just happened. But shout out to Dark and Stormy from me for holding that down, because that was an incredible display of blocking and really staying on that jammer until you had help. Ann Arbor's back up to having 3 blockers on the track. 1 blocker in the box, that is their pivot. Bifrost is jamming for Ann Arbor, as well as Irene for Lakeshore. There's a blocker going to the box, and Irene is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. Bifrost going to go ahead and take off that helmet cover and look for their pivot for a pass, at least maybe a stash. Irene, a beautiful jump. A beautiful apex jump, unfortunately didn't land it, and that is going to be a track cut, and now we have a power jam for Bifrost and Ann Arbor Roller Derby. With 1 minute and 20 seconds left in this jam, Bifrost moving through, getting 4 points for Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Beautiful offense and assist happening on the track. Lakeshore's 4th blocker rejoining the group, hoping to slow down Bifrost and Ann Arbor. Bifrost going to the outside, hit to the out by number 14. Ann Arbor kind of playing it safe, a little bit slow, and that's fine. That's because Irene is coming back out, and how fortunate that they were right there. Beautiful, almost through. That was so good. But Irene taking advantage of that inside line, their long legs really making a huge difference out there, being able to step over. No pack is called, but 4 points are picked up by Bifrost. It looks like someone is from Ann Arbor is going to the box. Irene is out. It's not your lead anymore, but has picked up 4 points for Lakeshore. We've got 13 seconds left in this jam. Irene coming in hot, going to the out. Bifrost dodging to the in, and that jam will come to its natural conclusion. 2 points picked up by Ann Arbor, 4 points picked up by Lakeshore. Lakeshore has been brought over the century mark. We are now at 158 Ann Arbor, 103 Lakeshore. Death Valley is on the jam line for Ann Arbor, as well as Nomi for Lakeshore. Death Valley going to the end, getting stuck behind those Lakeshore blockers. Nomi slowly trying to push their way through the Ann Arbor 3-post, even though they are down 1 blocker. They're looking for the advantage that Bunsen burner is giving them with that offense. But here comes the 4th Ann Arbor blocker out of the box, ready to play some defense. Death Valley resetting, pushing the blockers up on the outside line as Nomi is stuck there. Death Valley digging in, trying to really get through Rainbow Crash. Working hard to trying to get through 170. Wildcat and does. Death Valley is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. We had a successful star pass to Princess Leia. And Death Valley is coming in hot. Gonna see how many points that they can get before they need to call it. Running up the inside line. Getting 4 points from Ann Arbor Roller Derby, or for Ann Arbor Roller Derby, not from them. 162 to 106.
They stop it while this is here, because sometimes like the feed gets, especially because it's over the live stream, it can like overtake each other.
Rink Wraith is on the jam line for Lakeshore, and Sailor Psycho out there for Ann Arbor, pushing up, but Rink Wraith explodes through and is your lead jammer for Lakeshore Roller Derby. But Sailor Psycho is out and is chasing them down. Both skaters having nice, long, steady strides. Rink Wraith flying up, trying to get at least 1 point. Woo. Sailor Psycho sent tumbling to the outside. Rink Wraith doing great at dodging around each Ann Arbor blocker. Even though they're still caught, they are going to get at least a few points. Some offense being played, and they are through, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore before calling it off. Sailor Psycho picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor as well. 6 minutes, 33 seconds left in this game. On the jam line, we have Irene for Lakeshore, as well as Riff Raff for Ann Arbor. Both packs are full, and it's chaos out there as the game goes on. Everybody's skates are sliding, everybody's a little tired, maybe a little sweaty, and so everybody's just everywhere. But coming out on top is Irene. They are your lead jammer again for Lakeshore. They're really eating it up on her birthday today, I'm telling you. Riff Raff has taken off the helmet cover and is looking for a star stash or a star pass. But that is, what is her name? Kitty-Anna Jones. Stuck, but Riff Raff will explode through. Not your lead, but now eligible. From the bench, Lakeshore will say, go ahead and call it off. When Irene picked up an additional 4 points for Lakeshore. 5 minutes left in this game. Bifrost is on the jam line for Ann Arbor, as well as Nomi on the jam line for Lakeshore. Bifrost doing a nice back and forth, trying to shake it up a little bit. Nomi doing the slow and steady and pushing forward. There is no right or wrong jammer technique, just for the FYI. Each jammer has their own style and their thing that works for them. Some jammers are fast and are really good at doing tricks. Others just like the slow, steady, patient route. And sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't, but that's okay. Bifrost is through and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor, but Nomi is out and is chasing them down quicker than you think. Ann Arbor gets to the front to try to give Lakeshore points at the back. Ooh. 0-0 for each jammer. Just remember, roller derby is a full contact sport, but the good news is we get to wear slightly protective gear like knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, and our beautiful helmets that protect our nice brain. But that's also why there are penalties to protect the portions of us that are not covered by our pads. Direction of gameplay being sends Dark and Stormy to the penalty box, while Death Valley works the outside line, literally running over the Lakeshore blockers, trying to get out and get lead. Rink Wraith is right out and behind there as they hustle. Another Ann Arbor blocker, it's just resetting. That's fine, no problem. And Death Valley is going to go ahead and call it off, picking up, each jammer picking up 1 point for their team. 2 minutes, 48 seconds left in this game. 167, 115. Out on the jam line, we have Irene and Sailor Psycho. Out front is Sailor Psycho. They are your lead jammer. Irene taking off the helmet cover, looking for a star pass, doesn't need it as she speeds around the outside corner. Not your lead, but eligible to score points. Sailor Psycho squeezes through the inside, but meets up with Killer Buzz, who definitely killed it, slowing it down so that Sailor Psycho only picked up 3 points for Ann Arbor. On the jam line is Riff Raff for Ann Arbor and Nomi. And Riff Raff explodes and is your lead jammer for Ann Arbor. Nomi getting caught up on the outside. Resetting, they've got their helmet cover off and are looking for a pass. Riff Raff, quick feet, moving back and forth, trying to speed the pack up to open up some room, and does, picking up 4 points for Ann Arbor. Nomi is looking for a star pass and passes it to Rink Wraith, who's not your lead but is eligible to score points with a beautiful seamless star pass. Riff Raff gets through, picks up points, falls, and regains balance and is back out there. Rink Wraith is now a pivot turn jammer. Patsy Crime all over, but Rink Wraith zooms through, picking up 4 points for Lakeshore. Riff Raff dancing on her toes, trying to get through. Rink Wraith is back, oh my goodness, and got the warmest regards from Warm Regards, who just said, sit down. That 3 wall of Ann Arbor is doing excellent as Riff Raff pushes forward. We've got, oh wow, we got 40 seconds left in this jam, but only 7 seconds left on our period clock. That went really fast. We've got 30 seconds left in this jam. and Riff Raff will call it. And we have our unofficial score of the evening. Remember, before approaching the line, we need to wait for that beautiful round whistle to happen. And you may approach the first orange line when that does happen. Right now, our resident NSOs are gonna double, triple check the scores, make sure that nobody missed anything. And once we have our official rolling whistle, we'll have our official score for the end of the game. Yes. If you are a skater, I'll tell them in a minute. And that, with the final whistle, that is it. Ann Arbor Roller Derby's home team takes the win with 182 and Lakeshore to 124. What a great game. That was incredible.
Thank you so much.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes.
Let's follow each other. Also, skaters, non-skating officials, and referees, I just got to tell, if you're gonna eat something, do it now. Well, like after you do your little laps, but do it now, because they're gonna shut down the free food table, so hurry it up. And give it up for your Ann Arbor Roller Derby, your winners of the evening. And now give it up for Lakeshore Roller Derby, traveling all this way from Holland. Give a big round of applause for our two teams this evening. Well, I guess our two teams this evening, Ann Arbor and Lakeshore. Thank you all for coming out and sticking with us of our final home game of our 15th season of Ann Arbor Roller Derby. Like I said, if you want to get involved, check out AnnArborRollerderby.org. Is that the right thing? Is it AnnArborRollerderby.org still? Is it still AnnArborRollerderby.org? All right. Anyways, check us out online. If you're not from the area, literally all you need to do is type in roller derby near me, and roller derby will come up. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next season. I'm sure there might be some scrimmages that come up this winter. Oh, I bust my lip. And goodbye and good night.